China versus USA finally having a meeting on the 14th of May 2025. I know most of you woke up today and all of a sudden you saw gaps all over the market and you're wondering what's happening. Come with me, let me explain what's going on. My name is Oko Anthony Uche, also known as Tony Sniper. Stay with me to the end of the video. Let's go. Now, I told you guys that in our next class, we'll be using our 86-inch 40-point screen, and this one now has to go, okay? Now let's move this one to the side, and let's start using our main screen, okay? All right, guys, so let's go about what was actually going on in the markets. I know some of you woke up this morning and you saw gaps everywhere, while a lot of you woke up this morning and you saw gold dumping aggressively, GBP USD dumping aggressively, AUD USD, NZ USD. In fact, every pair that is against the United States of America are dumping aggressively. And pairs like USD JPY, USD CHF, and other pairs where the USD is the base currency is actually what? Pumping aggressively to the upside. So now I'll go through some fundamental news events. Then when I'm done analyzing them and explaining them to you guys why they are happening the way they are happening, then we'll go to the chart and I'll break down some key levels I want you guys to pay attention to, okay? Now let's start. Now, Donald Trump said China will be rewarded on tariffs for Fataline action. That's one. Number two, Trump on Fataline. There is a big incentive for China to stop. Take China at their word. Trump again, China has agreed to stop what? Fataline. Then Trump again, China to suspend non-monetary barriers. Now let me explain this before I move forward. Now I told you guys that all this issue started with what? With the drug coming into the United States of America. That was why what? That was why Donald Trump is forcing Canada or pressuring Canada or putting them to a position where what? They have to become what? The 51st what? State of the United States of America. And that's why all these tariffs that have been going up and down is actually what? Affecting Canada and Mexico properly. Now Donald Trump feels that if China helps them to fight this drug coming into the States, they will both what? They will both end from it, because at the end of the day, China is helping US continues trading with China. All tariffs and sanctions will be dropped, okay? Now let me read one more again. Now, breaking news on Crypto Rover. United States of America cuts tariff on Chinese goods from 145% tariff down to 30% for 90 days. Number two, China lowers tariff on US goods from 125% to what? To 10% in 90 days also. Now, Trump just closed one of the best deal ever, because at the end of the day, the US tariff on China are higher than before, 30 to 20%, while China tariff are what? 10 to 20%. This is actually what? The act of deal. This is where what? This is how you should negotiate, because at the end of the day, now US are still winning. Even if, yes, they dropped from 145 to 30, China dropped from 125 to 20, US are still leading at the end of the day. So I want to make you guys, I want to clear some information for you guys so you guys will understand what happened, why these gaps happened. Because at the end of the day, most of these news events, they happened when? They happened on Saturday, they happened on Sunday. A lot of fundamental news came in on Saturday and Sunday. And now, like I've told you guys before, or for those of you in my Telegram channel, if you've been following me, I've told you guys that whenever during the weekend we have a lot of fundamental news, especially fundamental news that have impact to the forex market, you should expect a gap opening. Now, if you notice, when gold opened today, right, when gold opened today, there was a gap at this point. There was a gap at this point, right? Pay attention to this, guys. There was a gap at this point. Now, reason is because what? Immediately the market opened, gold just started dumping aggressively. Why? Enough strength was coming into the US. Uncertainty dying down. Over $2 trillion moved into what? Into stock markets. That's why you see stocks market pumping aggressively today. BTC USD pumping aggressively today. Why? Uncertainty is dying down. Investors are what? Moving from risks of back to risk on assets. Now, if you've been following me or you've been watching all my YouTube videos, this shouldn't be new to you because I always explain why this happens. So I'll break down some fundamental news. Once I'm done breaking down, then we go into the chart and look for them technically. Okay. Now, China agreeing to fight Fataline. Like I've told you guys, this is a major drug issue in the states that USA have been trying to fight for long. So if China say they are going to help them also fight it, is a plus for the US. That's one. Now, number two, what Donald Trump is actually saying at the moment, right? USD JPY is definitely what's going to pump aggressively to the upside. Why? Because investors are going to move from Japanese yen back to what? Back to USD. Okay, that's why we saw this massive pump from here down to this point here. Okay, investors are going to what? Investors are going to be moving their assets from JPY back to the United States dollar. Why? Because uncertainty is dying down, and Donald Trump is actually what? Making good deals. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who wins this tariff war. What matters is who got what? The good deal out of it. Because at the end of the day, if me and you now, we notice that I said things to you, you buy from me, but at the end of the day, I end up spending more towards you than you towards me, and we end up coming to an agreement, and now you're the one spending more towards me than me towards you. It's a good deal for me. I've won the deal, because now the USA will continue to patronize China, and China will what? Continue to sell to the US. That's why everybody is what? Everybody is moving into the dollar. Like I've told you guys before, Q2 is going to be historic for dollar. The dollar is about to pump crazily in Q2. It was supposed to happen earlier, but due to this tariff war and sanctions, that was why what? It took time. Now, let's talk about why the dollar is actually strengthening. USA is currently what? Showing leadership. Number one. Number two, safer investments. If Donald Trump is winning all this deal and everybody wants to work with the US, what would happen? Everybody will move into the USD back. There's no need converting your USD to gold. There's no need converting your USD to JPY. There's no need converting your USD to what? CHF. Everybody will move back to what? To the dollar. Then number three, stronger economy expectation. With Trump now making this good deal with China, which were the only country standing against them, what would happen? Investors will troop into what? Into the states to invest more. Okay. Now let's move. Then now gap open. Like I've told you guys, what actually happened was because of what? Because of what happened between on Saturday and Sunday. A lot of fundamental news. Donald Trump was going back and forth, having meeting, and 90% of the meeting he did, he won all. He had better deals. Not like he won them because they didn't go to court. He had better deals that would what? That would impact more into the United States of America. That was why we saw the dollar what? Pumping aggressively. Now, which pairs will be affected from this? USD JPY, AUD USD, Euro USD, gold, US indexes, which are the stock market, cryptocurrency, and also what? US CNY, which is the Chinese yuan. Now, let's talk about what I meant by saying China will suspend non-monetary trade barriers. Listen to me. China will suspend non-monetary trade barriers. Now, China will make it easier for US company to do business in China. No more sneaky rules. No more hard to get licenses. No more delay at custom. No more weird product restriction. Because when Donald Trump started imposing this tariff, Chinese, or should I use the word China, were also what? Starting to put in some funny rules to make things harder for US to come into China, so that people in China will only consume Chinese goods and people outside China will also what? Buy Chinese goods. Do you guys understand me? Good. Now, what does this mean for the US economy moving forward? This will help US business more. Do you understand? It will help US business more. It will boost the US economy. Then it's also seen as what? As a perfect deal. That is why what? That is why dollar is pumping aggressively in essence. Now, I'm trying to explain all these fundamental news events so that you understand what is behind all this pump. Do you understand? Because at the end of the day, just listen to what I'm saying. This is not just about Donald Trump and China getting a deal. No. There is going to be a meeting between President Trump and President Xi Jinping, which is the president of China, on the 14th of May. Now, after that meeting, then we would see if gold will what? Continue dumping aggressively to the downside, or if gold will continue to find a demand zone, then continue to push aggressively to the upside. Now, there was a statement Donald Trump made. Let me read that statement to you guys. China tariff will go up without a deal. Tariff won't go back up all the way to 145%. Now, let me break it down for you guys. Now, what Donald Trump is trying to say is that if after the meeting on May 14th, or this 90 days interval they've given each other, if China decides to mess up or maybe do something sneaky, let me use that word, maybe do something sneaky or go behind their back to go and negotiate with other stronger countries, or they just find out that China is not really coming to a deal with the United States of America, automatically their tariff will go back up. It won't go as high as 145%, which was the previous tariff, but it will definitely It will definitely go back up. So in essence, what should you be expecting? More strength on USD, more strength on stocks, and more dump on on other safe haven assets. Now let's move to the chart. Let me break down some key important levels that you want to look out for buys or for sell. Now, if you're actually someone that trades USD JPY, you want to pay attention to these levels. You want to pay attention to this level here. You want to pay attention to this level. Why? Because this level is a minor supply zone. Okay, this is a minor supply zone, and the market has actually been buying from. This market has been buying from 142.500, and currently the market is at what? 148.174. That is a whooping 600 pips. And if the market gets to 149.900, that's over 700 plus pips, then we should be expecting a reaction from that level. Now let's move to gold. Now, so long as this tariff deal continues to move the way it's moving, right, we could see gold we could see gold coming back to this level here. Okay, we could see gold coming back to this level, right? We could expect more dump from gold down to this point here, then maybe some little retracement here, then it will come back inside here. Then hopefully on the 14th they have a deal, then we see gold dump down to the downside, or if they don't have a deal, then we expect a massive push to the upside. Do you understand? But this is what will happen. You should be expecting more dump on gold, then gold will break a bit below here to touch 3,100. Then we should expect a little push into here, then gold will be struggling here, expecting maybe a bullish news from CPI or from the meeting they'll be having on the 14th, either more dump to the downside or more push to the upside. But regardless, gold is still bearish at the moment. You have no reason to be looking for a buy currently, because the demand for gold is dropping drastically. Everybody is moving out of gold and they are going into where? They are moving into USD, because that looks like the best bet at the moment. Now let's move to GBP USD. Now, for those of you that trade GBP USD, Euro USD, you should You should be expecting more dump. Okay, you should be expecting more dump on GBP USD. Okay, for those of you that trade GBP USD, Euro USD, you should be expecting more dump on GBP USD. Now, for those of you that trade Euro USD, what should you be expecting also? You should be expecting more dump. Now, all these levels I'm marking for you guys are minor demand levels that I expect the market to come back to. Okay, if you're in my Telegram channel, this shouldn't be new to you, because I only trade supply and demand, major demand, minor demand, major supply, minor supply. So I'm just giving you guys key levels you should be expecting. Then as for BTC USD, I've already sent the signal now to the group, and everybody in my Telegram channel now are currently in profits, because I told them to I told them to start selling BTC while BTC was at 103,000. Okay, and I expect BTC to drop where? I expect BTC to drop back all the way to 100,000 or 100,500. Okay, now let's move to this level here with everything I've said so far. Now let's move to the whiteboard. Now, with everything I've said so far, I've told you guys that USD, right, will remain very strong. Other peers that are safe haven assets, they would lose their weakness. Why are they losing their weakness? Everybody is moving into USD, because that looks like like the safer bet, and more investors will move here because they expect some of these deals that Donald Trump have actually done would actually favor the US economy. Now, GBP USD, what should you be expecting? More sell. Euro USD, what should you be expecting? More sell. Gold, what should you be expecting? More sells. So with all these that I've said, you should understand the reason why USD is actually getting very strong and why the market also opened with gap. Remember, the only reason why the market opened with gap is because of what? Because of fundamental, let's refer to it as FA, news events that happened what? In the weekend. Whenever there's a fundamental news event in the weekend, pay attention. Whenever you notice Trump saying a lot of things during Saturday or Sunday, expect a massive gap when the market opens. And for the US stock markets, example, US 30, NASDAQ, and the rest, expect more push to the upside, okay? Now, the market has been buying ever since New York opened, but for now, I think this should be okay to navigate you throughout this week, and I'll come up with more fundamental news events. Do well to comment videos that you would love me to make, more videos that you would want to see from me. I just wanted to make this one so all of you will understand why the market opened with huge gap and all these fundamental news flying around. What is exactly happening? Remember, the tariff dropped from 145 to 30% for USA is actually what? Just for 90 days. The tariff that China dropped from 120% down to 20% is actually what? Just for 90 days. If China chooses to go the sideway or they play funny, what would happen? Donald Trump said those tariffs will go back up. And if those tariffs go back up, what would happen? Gold will start to buy back. But if everything continues as is looking, and at the end of the day, after May 14, they actually come together and they end this tariff war, what would happen? The US dollar will gain back its strength and we'll be expecting a bullish dollar all through Q2. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe. Peace.